Wow. My God.
Oh my God. We need. Let me get a stool. That one we need to see. There we go.
May the world know.
Oh God.
Yes, kuna bado watu wazuri. Kuna bado watu wazuri.
Okay.
And to everyone watching,
It's okay.
this is God.
Wow.
May God bless you.
Yes.
On behalf of my family.
Jesus.
So nimekuja hiyo the first week on Wednesday, the second week on Wednesday, and just went after shule ya computer.
Second week.
Yes.
Ashakwambia tafuta shule ya computer.
Yeah. Tafuta shule ya computer. I want you to go back to school. It's like God.
Nani analipa?
Hata hiyo salary sijaanza kuenjoy.
Yes.
It's like God. Okay. Somebody sawa.
Last year, I was locked up in the US for a whole year because of COVID. Sasa singerudi home. Na sasa uliacha msichana wako nani? Dabona yako.
Haya.
Unaona sasa?
Iyo part.
Sio nilikuwa story kubwa?
Ni kubwa.
Kwa nyumba nyingi.
Yes.
So, she is such a girl of integrity. Yes.
You left your house manager with your husband for an entire year.
Eh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mi unajua nishapata title ya video.
No. Yeah.
Wow, the trust.
The trust and basically her integrity.
Hello, good morning and welcome to today's episode of Tales of Wanjiku. Wakenya nawaambia ile baridi yenye iko huku Nairobi. But nimesema mimi atajua iwake. So unacheka? Atajua iwake, mimi siwezi toa. And as always, I'm here with my amazing director Edwin Ochieng. Salimia watu.
How are you Kenyans? Leo naonekana leo ninataka kuongea.
Leo nako nataka kuongea sana. I'm here with my amazing director and camera person Edwin Ochieng, and today we've come all the way in Kitengela because the story is so amazing. I love doing these stories kwa sababu this house help by the name Nekesa amekaa na mdosi wake for 8 years, and the boss has even taken her back to school. As we speak, she's doing her diploma in catering, and it's amazing tukue tunawaletea pia hizi stories kwa Tales of Wanjiku. So we are about to give her a call. Tuko hapa Eastmart ndio atukujie twende tuwapigie nini, tuwapigie story. Haya, to call your number. Nimesleep. Hi, Nekesa. Tuko hapa Eastmart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fine.
Yenye umeweka sawa. So nifuate hiyo location ya WhatsApp, ha?
Yes.
Okay, sawa basi.
Yes,
okay, bye. Aya, tuende kazi basi. Let's go people. So, guys, we are here. Hello. How are you? Thank you so much. Yes. Yes, we are here for Josephine. It's okay. We are rolling the camera. That's okay. All right. All right. So, guys, we are here.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Oh my God, you're so beautiful. How are you?
Thank you, Lynn.
You guys, you have. Come on, wait for. Look at how gorgeous this place is. How are you?
I'm fine,
It's
I'm
nice,
fine.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yes.
You're
Are
welcome.
you guys ready?
Yes, yes, we are ready.
Kabisa?
You're welcome.
Ah,
Yeah.
asante.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right.
So you can follow me.
Yes.
Josephine is right here.
Okay.
You're
Oh.
welcome. You don't have to.
No, us.
Yeah.
Hey, oh my goodness.
So here is Josephine.
Oh, I'm here. Hi. It's nice to finally meet
Oh my
you.
goodness,
How are you?
finally I'm fine.
We are timekeepers. Huh? It's the traffic in Mombasa.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
You are
It's really
aware?
terrible.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
You are ready to
Wow.
share your story with us?
Yes, yes,
Honey, she's also a personal chef.
Oh yes, yes, because obviously with what she's studying,
Yes.
and of course the hygiene of the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have that like that.
You have a letter.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, sawa basi.
Yes.
Us will just get started.
Okay.
She'll share her story with us.
Right,
and
yeah.
maybe we get to hear
Yeah,
from you kidogo.
that's
Si
okay.
sawa?
Yeah.
All
So
right.
where do you want to do that? In the house or outside?
We can do it from here.
Okay.
My name's Josephine Nekesa.
Yeah.
And to those who know me, back at home, I'm Josephine Barasa. That's my name I've been using primary and high school.
Okay.
Yes, so I've been working here as a domestic manager for 8 good years.
Yes.
And the journey has not been easy. But we
Okay.
thank God for the grace.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you know, when I saw your email,
Yeah.
I was like, this is a beautiful story
Yeah, sure.
that needs to be told. But kabla tufike hata kwa hii job yako, and you've been in this house for 8 years, ebu take us through story yako.
So my story comes this way. First of all, I was born and raised up in a place called, actually watu husema ni Trans Nzoia, but mimi najua ni Western. Matunda hapo hivyo Mlimani. There is where I come from. Nimefanya my primary and secondary educations there, a school called Matunda Primary. Then high school is Matunda SA, secondary school. I did my 4th year and I managed. I was an average girl. Average, yes. So everything went well since I had both my parents who are very supportive, especially my dad. My dad was everything to us. Yeah, if you need like school fees, anything that you want. Yes, my dad was there for us for everything. Yeah. So I come from a family whereby we are not that well able. Yeah, my dad was a driver. My mom was housewife. Yeah, ile kukaa tu home, see dad provides everything. Not unless kumetokea vibarua kidogo kidogo hizi za kulima kwa shamba, we used to do all that. Yeah, so
you performed in KCP.
yes. I got a C+.
Oh, good. Congratulations. Yes.
I got a C+, and it's so unfortunately that my dad could not see that results. And before that, he promised, he was like, Jos, when you perform well in school, I'll take you to the next level. And I was like, it's okay, Baba, I'll try my best to make you proud too. Yeah. So I remember it was ilikuwa December 12th when my dad came from work. He was sick, but not that very serious sick, just a normal, when mtu anaweza kuja tu nyumbani, like I have a headache. But yeah, so hivyo tu story, Christmas ikafika, I just said a good story with my dad. Then akawa sasa mgonjwa zaidi, alikuwa na sukari. Alikuwa na sukari, so akalazwa siku ya kwanza, ya pili, ya tatu, ikawa inamlemea. Then he called me and my younger brother. And my younger brother, he had a word with us. He talked to us like, if I want to make it, jueni kuishi na watu. Because your blessings are with the people. The way you associate with people matters a lot. And wherever God will take you, always have discipline in everything that you do. Because you don't know who has your blessing. Now it's like, why is Dad telling us this? And I remember he gave alitupatia gift. I was gifted a phone with a Bible. Yeah, he gave me a Bible and a phone. And it's like, the only thing I can give to you at the moment is this. But kwanza soma kwa bidii kwanza. Mungu akanipa uhai na uzima, I'll take you to the next level. Now it's like, fine. Sasa, by that time matokeo ilikuwa ijatoka December of course, and our time ilikuwa inatoka mwezi wa pili huko, mwezi wa pili. So January date 2, it was on Wednesday. Dada akapass. So it's like, now what next? Mwenye tuko tunategemea in everything, all kwa familia yetu yote, my dad was just there. Yes. Yes. I come from a family of 5. Okay. 5 children. Yeah. I'm the second born.
So he was providing everything.
Yes, not only in our family, but also in an extended family. You see, whereby call anytime, whatever you need, he will sort you. Now this person is not there. Now it's like, what will I do? Nikamwambia mama, I want to go to Nakuru to stay a bit with my uncle. Yeah, maybe Mungu atafungua njia nikiwa na huko. So it's like, it's okay. You just go na ujue kukaa na watu vizuri. You have to maintain what Dad told you. So it's fine, I won't let you down. So mimi nikatoka kwetu, nikakuja Nakuru in a place called Rongai, whereby I had to stay with my uncle.
Yeah.
Yes, so, but I thank God my uncle was so good, he was so loving, he was there to cover some, as in, I don't miss my dad, like, just, are you okay, do you want this?
He was a good person.
Yeah, he's too good, you see, he was very good man. So nikamwambia, yes uncle, though I like to go to school, nisome computer. Just by then ilikuwa ukisikia fulani amesoma computer, huyo mtu ako mbele sana. So my uncle was like, it's fine, nikipata pesa
utaenda.
But mipango ya Mungu na blessings za Mungu, it's only God knows. He was very willing to take me.
But the money was not there.
Yeah. Then beside that, he has a family, when wanamtegemea. Kasema it's fine, so, but I was still patient enough. I remember there is a day nilikuwa na stress, like I just wanted to write a paper with my contacts, nitupe mahali. Whoever will pick that paper, sikuna my contacts, nimwambia I just want any kind of job. Now, so long as I can get the school fees from there, I pursue my studies. So it's like, should I write or not write? Nilikuwa kwa hiyo mchanganyiko wa mawazo. I don't know what happened, because I remember I didn't write. Nikakuwa bado patient kwa my uncle, kunyumbani nini. Sininakula, ninavaa. After all, I'm okay, but there's something I'm lacking. Next, for my studies. Ikafika mwezi wa 11, ni 2-3, nilila kwa mayangu ilikuwa 2-3, mwezi wa 4, then tukakaa mpaka mwezi wa 10. From Rongai nikaenda Nakuru, hapa hivi 58. Not 58, White House, sorry, White where my church lives. This church is sister to my church. So, the same week on Sunday, nikaenda church. Up White House, it's called Global Victor's Chapel. Bishop preached, and you know he was just preaching hiyo inakugonga wewe. And I preached, it's like, Bishop, and does he know even my story? Why is he preaching all this? So after, I can remember he was just crying and sweating. From where I'm coming, ninatoka kwa pain. Hapa niko na stress, I don't know the next part. Na pale anakupatia hope, there is life. There is this, not, it's like God. Okay, it's fine. So, after preaching, mimi nikaenda kumsalamia kwa ofisi wakiwa na mama, Pastor Abigail. I gave them my story. Kaambia, Pastor, ninaomba kazi. I'd like you to give me a job or to connect me, or mkisikia kuna mtu anataka kazi, please consider me. Yeah, the reason behind that is that I'm stagnant. Kuna penye nimelemewa kidogo. Yeah, so Pastor Lucy was like, are you okay? Kamwambia Pastor, I'm very okay. Mi kazi yote I'll do. Hata kama ni ya nyumba. Kamwambia Pastor, it's fine. I'll do it. So long as mi kamwambia kwanza sichakui kazi. Whichever comes first.
Ndio nitafanya.
Akasema ni sawa. I have a friend of mine. She's from South Africa. Na amekuwa akitaka mtu sana. Na sasa the way she was describing her, it's like that friend of mine, she's so good, mkika naye mwenyewe utaanza kuona matokeo. Bora tu ukwe tu just a good girl, well behaved, usikuwe na story nyingi, unaona. So now it's like that is me. Nikajiambia tu kwa roho, that's me. So akaniambia ni sawa. Anytime be ready, I'll take you there. Pastor Lucy called me, huyo bibi wa bishop. She called me like, Josephine, uko ready? Nikamwambia Pastor, I'm ready. Sasa hiyo siko ready. Hata sijui manguo zingine ziko wapi. Nikamwambia Pastor, nikamwambia Pastor niko ready. So it's like ninapitia pale nikupeleke kwa Pastor Joyce sasa. Nikafika kwa Pastor Joyce the first week ya November. It was on Wednesday. Hapo ndo tukutana na Pastor Joyce. I didn't know her, she doesn't know me. You're welcoming. It's like, just karibu nyumbani.
Okay.
This is your home. Hakuna mtu mwenza kuambia utoke. You are part of us. And to us, you are not a house girl. You are part of this family.
Wow.
No, you are part of this family. I don't know, simjui. Mimi nasikianga tu Pastor Joyce, Missionary Joyce. I don't know this lady. So it's like, thank you. No, like, asante. Number one, nimepata nyumbani, nimepata mzazi to me. Then the environment was just peaceful for me.
How was the environment?
It was so good. I enjoyed, yani it was just like God. Okay. Mimi ndio hiyo.
Ulipewa bedroom yako?
So, yeah, I had a just, okay, sasa omkwetu unajua we are used to share bedroom, but sasa during that day, this is your room, this is my room, this is the kitchen. Sasa hiyo introduction ya nyumba venye iko. It's like, thank you. Sasa hiyo kichwa inaniuma. Naona hiyo thing, yani, I just have to put a smile on my face and to say everything is okay. But according to me, my head ilikuwa inauma kabisa. It's like, I can't believe I'm doing this to get money to go back to school. But it was fine. Nakumbuka nimeza Panadextra nikameza cause siamini. Mimi nasikianga tu house girl. But at the same time nilishukuru Mungu cause nimepata kazi. I can remember that night I slept with Pastor Joyce. Kai Jehovah. How? I'm just, mimi ni msichana tu, ona nimekuja kufanya kazi. Then Pastor akaniambia, my girl, kesho niko na appointment Nairobi, I don't want to, yeah, acha nitakuja kulala na hapo ndio niamke tu bila kumpatia stress ya asubuhi. So it's like, hi Jehovah, I'm sleeping with my boss on the same bed.
Wow.
Hiyo kitu mimi nilishtuka. It has never happened. Like, to me, okay, it was fine. So tukalala, tukaamka, ndio wale nilikuwa nimempatia my story, nimemaliza form 4, I got this grade. Nizapenda kwa sasa nisome kwanza computer. It's like, it's fine. So nimekuja the first week on Wednesday, the second week on Wednesday ananiambia Josephine, tafuta shule ya computer.
Second week?
Yes.
Ashakwambia tafuta shule ya computer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tafuta shule ya computer, I want you to go back to school. It's like, God.
Nani analipa?
Hata hiyo salary sijaanza kuenjoy.
Yes.
It's like, God. Okay, nasema ni sawa. Kulikuwa na certain girl tulikuwa naye, in fact she was used to that area. So ni yage nipeleka hii shule hii. Mimi nikafanya vile niliambiwa. Nitafute shule ya computer. Nikapata. Kanitisha, what does it call?
Results slip.
Ya hiyo ya kuonyesha mambo na school fees.
Yes, or fee structure.
Yeah, fee structure ya shule. Nikapewa nikamletea. It's like, oh, ni hivi tu. Kasema, yeah. So it's fine. Just wait. Sitakukata kwa mshahara wako. I'll take you to school. Nikasoma hiyo package zote. Ikaisha. Ilisha na 3 months. Then, after 3 months, it's like, what next? Does that school offer something else? Nikamwambia, yes, ni computer but ni ya kwa advance. Sema, it's fine. Nisaidie the
Fee structure.
fee structure. Nikamletea hiyo fee structure, akapitia. Kasema, it's fine. Hii nitamalizana nayo, but sitakukata hata bob kwa hiyo salary. It's like, God. Huyu ni Mungu amejibu maombi. Naona cause mimi nilikuja kufanya kazi, sikukuja kwenda shule. But just God, it's God. So nikamalizana na computer. Then kwa hiyo shule yenye tulikuwa, for you to be given a certificate, lazima kulikuwa na hiyo celebration. We have to put on gowns, at least we celebrate, unaona. Yeah, so kwa hiyo graduation, I invited my mother, our people, they came pale kwa hiyo celebration. Then we were given the certificates, and during hiyo kushirikia na wenzangu, pastor akaniambia, pana Josephine, this is your day, just celebrate. Let mama and the rest of the family watapelekwa nyumbani washughulikiwe. See, so it's like, this is God, because kuna watu wazuri bado, si kuna bado watu wazuri. Yeah, so I had to enjoy with my friends, and mamangu yeye ameenda nyumbani, waliko kwa gari. Fika nyumbani kulipikwa, in fact very very chakula nzuri. And I'm not there serving them. It's some people, they are serving them. Wow. It's like, God. But so from there, pastor akaniambia, what next? Because computer si mwisho wa masomo.
Okay.
Computer si mwisho wa masomo. You have to do something else. What do you want to do? Nikamwambia, accounts. Oh yeah, I've done a bit of accounts. Sile kaniambia, tafuta show, nipatie fee structure, I'll settle your school fees. Na sitatoa kwa your mshahara. Me, it was blessing after blessing after blessing. Then it's like, fine, thank you. See, so then beside that, akawa ameniambia, and Josephine, Mungu akakufungulia baraka kwingine, hapa tuja kufungia. You are free, but still remember you are still part of
our family.
Yes.
Okay.
Ukasikia kuna kazi kwingine penye wanalipa vizuri kuliko hapa, you are free
to go.
To go, but still remember this is your home. It's like, thank you, see. So kukatokea na kanafasi ya kufunza computer. Mi wanasema, yes, there's no job, but once umeenda shule, please, you can be a teacher of that subject. Hata kama ni ya kujitolea tu, the more you do it, unakuwa used to it, then hata ukapewa hiyo nafasi, you won't struggle. Yeah, so the same school yenye kwa nasoma, I used, after my work, ninaenda kufanya attachment. Unaona? Because mi kazi yangu ilikuwa inaisha mapema sana. Si hata tukulazimishwa kuamka, no. I used to wake up at 3, just ikifika 3 hata without the alarm, uzingizi itaisha. So nitaamka, ikifika saa 2, when people are thinking of breakfast, I'm thinking of lunch. Ikifika saa 6, when people are thinking of dinner, of lunch, I'm thinking of dinner. No, so that was my style. So it's like I have so many extra time. So I used to go back to that school to apply for attachments ya kufunza wengine computer nini. And teacher akajua huyu akona there's something in her ya hiyo passion. Kukafunguka mahali college fulani walikuwa wanataka teacher wa kufundisha computer. So teacher akani recognize. Kaniambia Josephine kuna mahali wanataka computer. Do you still have the passion? I it's fine, but I'll have to talk first to
my boss.
Yes. My boss was very okay with that. I mean, so long as they are good, they will treat you well, and in case of anything, you are still part of us. Usiaipatwa na shida, and you are still here. No, so kasema it's fine. Nikaenda hiyo shule, it's Mount Zion. Nakuru tu bado iko pale Ndegentimu. Nikafundisha computer for almost 2 years. Wow. And my students, they were graduating just the same as me.
Yes. Kai.
It's like, yeah, so in mtu akimaliza yake, for her to come for certificate, we have to organize a certain celebration. Akuja akichukua pia na ikifurahi the same way did. So that was it. Pastor then akanipigia simu. Sasa najua sasa niko computer, singeweza kufanya kazi. Yeah. So baadaye akanipigia simu akaniambia, "Just do you know what? I still need you back. I still need you back. I trust you with my kids." Me, it's like, it's fine, ma. Yeah, I call her ma. It's fine, ma. I'm coming. Sasa niko kwa ofisi. It's like, nikasema ni sawa juu siwezi haribu penye nimetoka. Naona they have been there for me when I needed them most. So I put my office thing kando. I came back. Huyu mtoto, the last born juu alikuwa amezaliwa, he was still baby boy kamdogo. So it's fine, since he trusts me, let me just be okay. Nikaenda nikaongea na manager hiyo shule, kaambia it's ABCD. Nimeacha. Yeah, so mimi nikarudi home.
And you know, when I got Josephine, she could not even cook. Mimi ndio nilikuja kupika chapo.
Haya.
Hizo mafia Africa.
Wewe Madagascar alikuwa anapika. Yeah.
But she's such a learner. You know the way you get somebody who is willing to learn?
Yes.
Alikuwa anapika zingine mpaka na feature.
Chapo za kona saba.
Anapika chapo, but then what happened? Even like when she began college,
yes,
there are times she would bake something. Then I'm like, "Hey, Josephine, something nice was smelling." She starts laughing. She's like, "Don't even ask. They flopped." The first time alipika muffin, zote zilitokana kichwa.
Ulikuwa unapika nini?
Zilitokana kichwa.
So hapo anajua ati hata kupika.
Like even now, like when she began the college, the catering, muffins za kwanza ziko na kichwa. So then she's like, by the way, mom, your muffin, shika hapo juu, shika itangu.
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
I love you guys.
Oh, we have had fun, I'm telling you.
It's fun.
And it's a passion.
Yes.
You know, there's someone who give up like, at least pick it. No.
Anang'ang'ana.
Right now she does muffins. Hakuna kutoka kichwa.
Then starting this year, Pastor told me to look for school, catering. In fact, that was my passion. I love cooking. I love cooking. So it's like, just since you know how to cook, so let's improvise. Yeah, because when kids go to school, you are not that busy. You need to put some lather and you are cooking and I was very okay with that. So tukakuja Kitengela, kaniambia tafuta shule again. I looked for the school, fee structure, nikamletea what else? Uniforms, these are the requirements.
Yes, hizo za
And
catering.
she did everything.
Fine.
Yeah, they did everything. Kaniambia with this, it's fine. I'll settle your school fees.
Wow.
They bought the uniforms and everything, all the requirements. She did for me.
And now you're doing catering.
But yeah, I'm doing diploma in catering management. Yeah. So imekuwa tu hivyo ni maisha ya baraka. Yeah, being with the positive people, they think also positive about you. Yeah.
Before we get her, because I told her I would love to talk to her, na akasema she will come.
Kabisa.
Why was it important for you to share your story?
Number one, there's this, just to change the mentality, especially for the youth, that I can't do this, I can't do that, it's not a good job, or ni kazi ya aibu. Hakuna kazi ya aibu. So long as it can give you something, just do it. Hata kama ni kokota takataka na uko nje, just go and do it. You don't know where your blessings are. God will not just anguka from heaven, from heaven, ati aseme sasa let me bless you. No. God uses people. The same people they are around you. They matters a lot. Then number two is to change this mentality of the way domestic managers do relate with
Their boss.
their bosses. Yeah, so they're still good bosses, and I don't know kama kuna bad, but people can change. From my story, at least people can change. Yeah, people can change. So ule tu msichana mwako kwa nyumba, mwangalie tu vizuri. Mwangalie tu vizuri, then your blessings ato mwenye nyumba. Maybe she's carrying your blessings and you never know. Yeah, so the way you relate and associate matters a lot.
It matters a lot.
Yeah.
What do you love most about working for your boss?
I have passion for kids. Number one, kids comes first. No matter, hata kama mimi ni mgonjwa uniambie tu so my friend I'll wake up. And make sure they're okay. To me kids it's everything. I can remember the firstborn. By then she was 3 years old. Back to my church, the Global Victors, I was Sasha. I was doing ushering. So this girl was like so many times ako close na mimi. Nile mpaka people were like, is this your daughter? Nakumbuka kuna siku kwanza akaniuliza, just what did you give my daughter? Because hata mimi anitaki. But that love, naona hiyo love jo connection. Mi hata nikako wapi, hata kwa mfano nikasoma niende mpaka wapi, I still maintain my respect. Haita nipatia credit ya kudisobey sasa juu nimetaka masomo nimesoma. No, it won't kill me. But for me, kids comes first. Yeah, really main connect.
Kids come first.
Kids.
You said something important about not choosing jobs. Hakuna kazi ya aibu. Ebu emphasize on that.
Not choosing job. This means kwa mfano umesoma, like watu wengi wamesoma and they are still there waiting to be employed. Getting employed si mbaya, but jitume. Unaona? Jitume. Kwa mfano, God can use just a very silly thing for you to get that thing that you want. Yeah. So anything you find your way that you can do so long as it gives you something,
Do it. Wacha kukaa ukamona kwa
acha kukaa, utazeeka tu hivyo
Utazeeka.
ukingoja ngoja.
Utazeeka tu hivyo.
Utazeeka ukingoja.
Serious? Utazeeka ukigota.
Yeah.
Ni nini unaona? Because people don't stay in houses for long. Unaona leo umepata house manager, kesho ameenda, next month ameenda. If you have one that is watching you, what are some of the tips you would give them ya kuishi na mdosi wake?
Okay, to my fellow girls, it's just simple. Number one, kuwa tuna heshima yako. Number two, know what brought you there. What brought you there has taken you. Number three, how do you relate and associate with your boss? Juu kuna some bosses maybe ni wakali. Take your time to know what does your boss want, what does she doesn't want. Just take your time. Learn from her. Don't learn from other people because ni boss wako amekuemploy si majirani. No, so whatever she wants, just listen to her. Yeah, ni kuelewana tu. Hakuna kuvutana because once you are here, you have to be humble. Ni shida zako ndo zimekuleta na huku so.
Sikierere yako.
You have to mark your boundaries too.
Yeah. I'm excited to have her here. Can we call her?
Oh yeah, it's fine.
Aya, mwite akuje basi.
Okay, so I can go.
You can go call her. Wewe, Kwisha, have you ever seen those Hollywood movies? Wanateremka kuja. Have you ever seen hizo Hollywood movies?
Right?
Watu wakienda prom.
Akina Alejandro.
Hizo Alejandro wanaenda come here. Welcome to the sea.
Thank you.
Kuja hapa.
All right.
We have some questions for you.
Okay.
So Pastor Joyce, karibu sana.
Asante.
It's good. Thank you for inviting us in
Thank
your
you,
house.
thank you.
Man, you live in such a wonderful place.
Thank you, Lynn. We
You
just
live
give God the
in such a
glory.
wonderful place,
Thank
and
you.
it's beautiful. And thank you for having us here.
Thank you,
We
yeah.
just listened to her wonderful story.
Yes.
And the question I have for you is, first and foremost, what kind of a person is she?
Well, first of all, Josephine is a good person naturally. You know good people. You don't need a year to know a good person. There is something about Josephine that when I met her, I was like, this is a good girl. And she has proved now, I believe it's 8 years now,
Yeah.
she has proved that she is a good person.
Yeah.
You will know when you rebuke her, you know, like you can't do that, do it this way. You will know the response. You will know after so many years of working, I still can tell her do this, and she's like, is this what you wanted done? Like her humility is just so much, you know, and her consistency in being good. There was no day I came and my babies told me, you know, Josephine said this, or she pinched me, or, you know. So she is a good person, and so part of staying with her is not necessarily because I'm the best, it's because also she's a good person.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
She's
yeah.
a good person.
Yeah, she's a good person, yeah.
And you know what caught me when she wrote me the email.
Okay.
You know, I was going to do the email, and then she's like,
Yeah.
my boss even took me back to school.
Yeah.
Now I'm doing a diploma
Yeah.
in catering, and I'm like, now I even get to hear, not
Yeah.
only did you pay for her, are you paying for the diploma?
Yes.
But you've been able to pay for her computer
Yes,
packages.
yes, yes.
Yani, you've worked with this girl.
Yeah.
Why was that important?
First of all, when she was introduced to me,
Yeah.
she had just finished Form 4. And I was told her story, her father passed on. And so I was like, any father or any parent would have wanted their daughter to go ahead and get some education. But now she doesn't have that privilege because the father is no more. The mother is not able. Not only that, the fact that she has finished Form 4 and she has not failed, but she's so humble to get work in a home. So that to me was, this is just not a normal girl. So for me to, first of all, and my husband decide that we're gonna take her to, first of all, of course, familiarize with computer, because in the time you're living in,
Yeah.
you may not be able to walk around if you
Yes.
cannot handle any gadget.
Yeah.
So that was because I thought, if it was my daughter, if I was not here, if their father was not here, would there be nobody that would say, you know what, atanilipie shule?
Yes.
So that actually was it. I was not even for that, so that at NGO, maybe in the future, it was like whether she becomes good or not, let me do it again. We had just relocated from South Africa, my family and I.
Yes.
And so our daughter now joined school, like she was 3 years old. So now, my husband was actually still in South Africa. She has nothing to do because my daughter now is in school.
Yes.
So the whole day, she's not so busy. So I was
Yeah.
like, this is a very good time for her to do that.
Yeah.
And so that is when I said, you know what, just get some classes and go to classes, just go to college. And she did that. And yeah, so that's how we began.
Yeah.
And then when she finished, I thought, you know what, there is still not much work at home. And don't forget, every weekend, you know, when now I released her, you mentioned that I released her to
Yes.
go and work.
Yes.
You know, I thought, you know, when you go to college, every girl has got these dreams. I want to work in the corporate world.
Good.
You know, nobody wants to work in a home
Yes.
forever.
Yeah.
So I was like, why should I deny her that opportunity?
You let her go.
I let her go. I told her, you know what, just go ahead, you know, get a job. And she got a job.
Yes.
And I was very excited about her.
Yeah.
And it was paying her more than I was paying her. I believe
Yeah.
so. I believe so. Yeah, I can't remember. But I was like, well, you know, this is a good experience. But every weekend, she will come back.
Oh, yes.
You know, the way you would live with somebody, then you're thinking now you possibly be communicating far away.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
No, she'll be like she's back, and she'll come find maybe whatever is not done, she'll do it. So sasa uelewi sasa hapa hii tunaendeleaje hapa?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
are we still
Hapo unatakaje sasa?
sasa ni aje?
Yeah.
And my daughter will be so excited when she comes back. Then I got now pregnant with my second baby, and she looked for other house girls for me.
Wow.
Yeah, and they came. Hey. And then I was in those months of pregnancy where unaweza jikuta umelala the whole day.
Yes.
Nikiamka nakuta tayari alilala huyo mwingine. Tulala wote. Hakuna food. Like I was like, that's when I realized, by the way, it's not easy. You know, sometimes you think like it's just easy to live with people.
Yeah.
So we actually did change quite a number. I can't remember how many we had, but they came in all versions, you know. One would tell me, I know how to cook chapatis. So fine. Hey, when you go to the kitchen, you find the map of Africa.
So Madagascar for Canada.
Yeah. So finally, I'm a prayerful person.
Yes.
And so I asked the Lord, I have lived with Josephine good. Don't I deserve somebody else who is very good? Why am I getting these girls that are like this? I'm not a bad person. Why am I mbegu ni wapi ni mimi nilipanda? You know.
Yeah.
And then again, I grew up in a home where my mom always had people. I don't remember any time akukuwa na watu kwetu. Ametoka na hapo nje alikuta mtu akitembea anatafuta sijui chakula,
Anamleta kwa nyumba.
Na sasa anakuwa ni wetu. So anyway, I didn't have an issue with bringing quite a number of people. And when I prayed, you know what God told me? I gave you somebody and you let them go. I was like, now who? Only Josephine. I said, okay, wanamlipa hii pesa. I'll top up.
Good.
Yes. So I called her and I gave her an offer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told her, I want you to come back to work. This is how much I'm going to pay you.
Yes.
She didn't even say no.
Kuja.
Kuja. She
Haraka.
came.
Where the money resides.
Yes. Because I'm thinking she's valuable.
Yes.
Why not pay her?
Repeat that.
Yeah, she is valuable.
And most people don't see house managers.
Exactly.
Some will call them house managers, domestic managers, house helps,
Yes.
maids.
Yes.
They don't see the value in them.
Yes.
They are like, siwe na kulipa. Kwa hivyo tukikula, ondoka ukakulie huko.
Yes, yes.
Kama ni nguo, wewe utaamka saa 9 kuwa. It's the value for me. It's the fact that these are human beings.
Right.
And you treat me right, I treat you right.
Yeah.
You water me, I water you. So kudos for that.
Yeah. So and then again, remember, I've had experience with quite a number.
Yes.
And even when I was a girl, like now if we rewind,
Yes.
I used to have girls who worked for me.
Yeah.
So I have had life when I always have somebody working for me.
Yeah.
So I had a share of knowing value.
Yes.
So I knew this is a valuable person.
Yes.
And now to just answer your question, why have I again and again empowered her? Is because of that value. Actually, if even like now she's doing her diploma, if somebody told me, or she came and told me, you know, I've got this beautiful job, I will let her go. You know why? Because I want her one day, I even was telling her the other day, I want her one day, you know, go somewhere, go to a different country, work and, you know, experience.
Get the exposure.
Yeah. My husband and I have had the exposure of working in the most beautiful companies you can ever think about. We have worked for the airlines industry. We worked for best, you know, mobile companies. Why didn't I have that? So, and she can't have that if there is no empowerment.
Yes.
And so now for this second, you know, college, now both kids are in school, right? Again, okay, this is a big house, and so you can possibly think there is a lot for her to do.
Yes.
But then I thought, okay, yes, there is something she can do, but why not just give her what will make her better.
Good.
So one of the things that we make sure is that her work environment is good to be able to study.
Yes.
So we make provision. We make sure she doesn't have to wash clothes. She has a, you know, a machine to wash the clothes.
Wow. Hey.
Yeah, because we are serious about empowering her.
Good.
And
You're
not
not
only
just
that.
doing it
Yeah.
for the show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't even call you.
I know.
If it was over the show.
You would have been the
Exactly.
one who, she is the one who reached out.
Yeah. So she because there is no way, like you said, unakuta msichana anamka saa 9 ndio aoshe nguo, ndio amalize ile kazi yako nayo the whole day. It's not easy, you know. So we make sure that she has, you know, the right machinery to work. Once a month or something, we get somebody to clean the house, like ile dhara, ile kuvuta vitana, ile kupanguza.
Yes.
She has somebody who she gets to come and iron for us. I pay, you know. So sasa unakuta, yeah.
Hapo ndio mnasemanga maisha London.
No, she deserves it. I'll tell you the truth. She does deserve it.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she because what she's studying is also hectic.
Yes.
When my kids are struggling with homework, I
She's
can
also
also
struggling.
see. So you can imagine the same person. You're still expecting them to do everything like before.
Yes.
It's not possible. I've
Yeah.
been in school. I've gone to study when I was even over 30 years old. So I know what it takes to force your brains to receive something, and you
Yes.
have got kids who are telling you,
Yeah.
Josephine, I want food. You got, you know, this boss also who is asking you, viatu zangu mepanguza.
Yeah.
You have a
Ulipita
lecturer who
pasi.
is waiting for you. You know, it's a lot.
It's a
so
lot.
not unless you're not human, you should be able to see those things.
Yes.
And so that's one of the reasons why we have empowered her.
Yeah.
We want, because kids are growing, you know, kids are growing. She was never born to work in the house the whole of her life. I don't believe that.
Wow.
I don't believe that. I believe that the kind of a person she is, she should be able to grow, enjoy life, and life should reward her. And life can never reward you if you're not upgraded to the level that you want your reward. So that's why we have upgraded her. And she loves hospitality anyway.
Yes. She's so passionate
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
Sijui ameniambia ametupikia, sijui nini.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, even if you look at me, you can tell now I'm beginning to get yeah. Yeah, kuna tumikunjo too, you know those types.
Lakini tule to healthy. Ni tule
Because-
tumejaa love. Unajua?
Because you
Yes.
cook for us, and
Yeah.
then we have some snacks, we've got some cakes, we've
Yeah.
got some, you know.
Yeah.
So she really takes good care
She's
of us.
amazing.
My husband was telling me the other day,
Yeah.
naona kweli hatupotezi school fees.
Isha.
Because the level of, you know, kind of catering she does in the house is really amazing.
Yeah.
My desire to see her work in the best hotel
Yeah.
or actually own her.
Like a home, also a personal chef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or own her
Own her own hotel.
Her own guest house. You know?
You
Or
want her
manage-
to fly.
Yes, yeah.
Umesikia mami?
Yeah. Also before we have actually had businesses where we have we used to live in Nakuru before. We
Yeah.
had guest houses. That's
Yes.
why our standards would be very high.
Oh.
This is not a home. This is not a guest house. This
Yeah.
is purely home.
Yeah.
So she had the opportunity to manage guest houses.
Oh.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to say about her, the reason I always go back to empower her is because she has, for us as a family, even my kids, my husband, she has stopped being somebody who works for us. She's family. So I know the mom. Over the years, utajua tu wazazi. So I know the mom, the family. And not only that, last year I was locked up in the US for a whole year because of COVID. Sasa singerudi home. Na sasa uliacha msichana wako nani? Bwana yako.
Haya.
Unaona sasa?
Iyo part.
Sio nilikuwa story kubwa?
Ni kubwa.
Kwa nyumba nyingi.
Yes.
So she is such a girl
You
of
left?
integrity.
You
Yes.
left your house manager with your husband for an entire
Kwani?
year. Wow.
Yeah.
Mi unajua nishapata title ya video.
Yeah.
Wow, the trust.
The trust and basically her integrity. And I know we have got so many stories that out there of what girls have done, or husbands, because we cannot just blame the girls. Yeah, even the men, you know.
Yes.
So she has been a woman of integrity.
Lovely.
She's respectful to my husband.
Yes.
And even when I'm in the US, you'll be surprised. Almost like she would, I'm like, Josephine, is you on the ground? Can you just decide what to cook? I don't know. I am not even helping you to know what. She would inquire, like, Mom, what do we cook? Yeah. And then we like maybe sometimes looking online on what to cook and how to go about it. So we had that almost a daily, you know, conversation. Sometimes she'd be like, my son, sijui is doing nini hana. This girl, I will tell you, most of the clothes I wear, she shops for me.
Okay.
Yeah. She will go to the shops. In fact, unaona vile, like in the house hakuna mkate. She will not disturb me wherever I am. Ati hakuna mkate. She will buy with her money. Tunasautianaga sasa later. Yeah.
Later.
Yeah. So I'm in the US. She'll be like, no, I'm looking at the kids. I think King, my son is called King, needs this. Havila needs this. So, you know, I'll send her money. She will buy. That's a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's family now.
Yeah, she is. She is family.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and she can be expensive.
Yeah, I was gonna go like, yes.
The things have been made to buy in this house. But, you know, I don't complain.
Yes.
Because I like her mentality. She's not village, you know, her mentality.
She knows her worth.
Yes, she does. Josephine anaweza kuja ameniletea utensils. So how much are these? 9,000. I'm like, what? So I owe you 9,000.
Yes.
She's like, yes, Mama. So yeah, so that's how we live, and I'll pay.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's why I said she's no longer. Of course, we pay her. We pay the fees because it's important for us to do that. However, she has moved from just being that employee to just being family.
Yes.
And yeah, so it's been a beautiful journey. We thank God.
Yeah.
There was no time that my husband can report that anything happened or my kids. It's not normal. You don't just find those kind of...
Let me ask you, because you raised a very important topic. Because she told me the reason she wrote to me was because she saw a story I did with a former house help.
Right.
And unlike her, things were not okay.
Right.
Not so many women will trust their house manager with their husbands.
Yes.
It's rather, mimi kasi yuko kwa nyumba, we toka utarudi ile siku. Why the trust?
Number one, as I said, she's a woman of integrity.
Good.
Number two, my husband also is a man of integrity. You see? And also, I have seen also, I believe I did see one of your shows on that.
Yeah.
Now, remember I said I'm a spiritual person.
Good.
You need to know, possibly now I can speak to a woman who is feeling threatened. Some of these things, they are purely spiritual. Whether it's a polygamous thing in your husband that's causing him to see whoever is working for you as a wife, or it's witchcraft, that is all because tumeona.
Yes.
Kwani siwadekea uchawi. Yeah.
Yes.
Or it's just some few things that need to be fixed in the marriage that is causing this man to, or it's the upbringing of the girl. Maybe she grew up in an environment where, you know, she was not groomed enough to know her worth. Like now, Josephine, why would you settle for a man who you know for sure?
Si wako.
Si wako.
Na
So,
hata waikuwa wako.
yeah, so it's actually several reasons why women get insecure. Let me use that word. But you need to know why. Because it can be spiritual. Huyu mtu wako, hata huyo msichana akienda, ulete mwingine. The spirit in him will look for another woman.
May I have an idea?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, because I know my audience will fall in love with you, can we bring you on Tuko Talks?
Yeah, you
and
can.
cover some few topics? Because I'm like, I don't want to rush you, but I also feel like you have this amount of wisdom that our audience will
That's
give.
perfectly
so
good
if
with
you
me.
say yes, me, I'm good to go.
Yeah, I'm good.
That's perfect?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Nekesa. Nekesa.
Nekesa.
How does it make you feel to hear your boss or now your family speak so highly of you?
Wow. I feel good. I feel, I just feel so good. Yes.
She likes laughing. Anapenda kucheka na kuambia. She likes and that's what keeps us because she's always ukiona Josephine amekasirika
You just
He,
know
jiangalie shida iko wapi.
ni wewe, si
Shida iko
yeye.
because hata kukosea.
Yeah.
Na if he does anything wrong, she actually was not intentional. Yeah, she didn't know.
Wow.
Yeah, and don't forget also, I'm not saying that you can see us laughing and you possibly
Yeah,
thinking,
do you fight?
no, we don't fight.
You have miscommunications?
No,
Disagreements?
no. I would say, I know people are watching and this is very important to notice. You know, you can see us laughing and you think we are just buddies, we're just
Yes.
family. No, we do have actually, in the midst of all this, we do have that time of a boss and an employer
There are
relationship.
boundaries.
We do have boundaries. And naturally, this is a very strict home. But it was not strict yesterday from when she joined. It was strict in terms of, she knows bedrooms should be made like this. Towels should be changed.
Like this?
Like, yeah,
this often.
yeah. So, you know, also what happens is because when these girls come to our home, then all of a sudden you want to bring something that you're not. You know, so she knows that the boundaries. Of course, she knows the bed should be changed like this. The kids' bedroom should be done like this. The bathrooms should be clean like this. Of course, now she doesn't do a lot of cleaning now that we get somebody to do it.
Yeah.
But that's where she has come from.
Good.
So she's not just somebody who haven't paid the price of this job.
Of this job.
Yeah, so it's good for us to give her credit because she's not just somebody who nikuteka tu, you know, no, she knows this is a
She
serious
has
place.
mastered her skill.
Yeah, good. That's the right one. That's why I love you, Lynn.
Yeah, man, I love you right back. You have mastered. I think I always tell people I get to host the most amazing people. So, yeah. So she has mastered her skill.
Yeah, she has. Even in the kitchen, you know, like if I tell her don't do spices, she will even maybe like, homie ma, come just check if is that what you want. Yeah. So hajani zoea.
She's respectful.
She's very respectful, and for that she has never changed.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm wishing you guys all
Yeah,
the best.
thank you.
And me, I'm having you on Tuko Talks.
Yeah.
By force.
By thunder.
By thunder. By thunder.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, even as I said once, for welcoming us. Me, I'm just eager to go eat what Nekesa made for us.
Yeah, you will.
What Nekesa made for us.
Yeah.
But before we conclude, what would be your parting shot?
I would say God is faithful to everybody. I know in a time where there is a lot of uneasiness out there with girls getting abused doing this kind of a job. What you have to do, if you're a girl watching or you're an employer, remember God is so faithful that he's watching. How you treat other people, somewhere it will come back to you. Maybe not in a year or two, but it will catch up with you. So for those who have been abused in your line of duty, I pray that God will heal you, go to the necessary counseling, and you can pick up your life and move on again. To those who abuse girls because they are helpless, they have nobody to speak for them, you can get a lawyer, they can't get a lawyer. I want to tell you, the God who watches over his people, he will catch up with you.
He's coming for you.
He's coming for you.
Yeah.
And you know what? When God decides to come after you, hey, it's not a nice thing.
Sadanda.
It's I didn't say that. Lynn said it.
Yeah, I'm learning. Sadanda.
So thank you.
Yes. Nekesa.
Okay, it's fine. So first I'd like to thank you, Mom.
Yes.
You've been so like blessings in every corner in my life. Back to my home, you've been so supportive in everything. It's like people are like, wewe ukiomba Mungu ulikuwa umeangalia wapi? Some people ask me, where are you facing? Because it's like your prayers is being answered every day.
Yes.
So to me, I'm very humble. I'm still humble, and I so many figure up, it doesn't give me a credit to be a disobedient
Person.
I still remain to be that. Yeah. So God bless you. Everything. I just wish you all the best. Avilas, King, everybody, Pastor. I wish you all the best in everything, and just say thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
have something for you.
Oh,
Oh yes, she has something for you. Bring it on, ma. Bring it on.
Oh,
She was like, Lynn, I have something for her, and I don't want her to know. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, really.
You know, when she said I have something for you, I thought she's talking about the food she's cooked for you.
Ah, hiyo tunakula, si yetu sasa. She was like, Lynn, where should I put what I have for her? I'm like, just go hide it there. Then when we are almost,
oh my God.
when we are almost concluding,
Yeah.
you come in.
Oh, wow, 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 wow. Oh, wow, wow. My God.
Oh my God, we need
What did you pass? Oh my.
Oh, let
God.
me know. Let me get a castool. That one we need to see.
Oh, my God. What?
There we go.
Just to may the world know.
Oh God.
Yes, kuna
It's so
bado
humbling.
watu wazuri. Kuna bado watu wazuri.
Okay.
And to everyone watching,
It's okay.
this is God.
Wow.
May God bless you.
Yes.
On behalf of my family,
Jesus.
you deserve.
Oh,
Though it's
God.
small, but
I don't even know what to say. I'm cheering now.
Wewe ngojea tuone nini iko ndani. Atangojea tuone nini iko ndani ndio tulie yote isha.
Oh my God. Oh. Thank you so much. This is so
You see why I
touching.
love my job?
Oh.
kwa anasema chana chema mwisho wa pete na hatutafanya kwa siri ama kwa giza on the light.
On the
Oh,
light.
wow, wow.
May the people see.
My God.
Oh.
All right. I didn't even know she knows that much Swahili. She just said something and I'm like, what's that?
Wacha mimi nilete serviette.
Oh, thank you so much. This is so amazing.
Oh, okay. Just pass.
Pressure cooker.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you.
Here we go.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, Jesus. Eh.
Oh. Oh.
That's pressure.
Oh.
My God.
Oh my God.
Okay, can you open?
Oh.
Thank you so much. Oh my God. Yeah, actually, I don't own one.
You don't have a pressure
I don't
cooker?
have a pressure
Oh
cooker.
my God.
Thank you so much.
Na iko na two bolt.
Yeah.
So usitupe hii
It's a
carton.
serious equipment.
Hey, next. Jesus. Si pia nyinyi munishtue tu hivi siku moja. Oh my God. Don't cry. She
It's so
said
touching.
chanda chema uvalishwa
You also know that one.
uvishwa pete. It's a good
Okay, I apologize to my Swahili teacher.
inasema it's a good finger ndio inavalishangwa pete.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Oh. I think she's paying back all the glasses she has
She has broken. Is this you paying back for all the glasses? No, we wanna see inside. It's okay. We had to talk hapa mpaka tuone. It's you can bring a knife now. Yeah. Hatutoki hapa mpaka tuone. Where? Oh, may I
They're
guess?
so cute. I love them.
This makes me. This
Oh,
is
it's such a touching thing
Yeah.
to see that
Oh.
she went to spend her money
on you.
on me.
Because
and
you're
you know, it's not the
Hey.
first time.
It's not
Like
the
when I
first-
came from the US, I found stuff. I found sandals. Oh wow.
They are
Iko sawa?
beautiful kabisa. Man, mimi nanyongwa na furaha.
These are good. You know what?
Yeah.
I always tell her she cooks and serves like a real Luya mama.
Yes.
Because in this house, she cooks a lot and serves a lot. So now, with the glasses I have,
Yes.
she's telling me you need bigger.
You need bigger ones. Oh,
And you know the quality is very good.
it's
eh?
too, it's too,
Yeah,
it's
it's amazing.
good.
Oh, thank you.
Well done. You see, I taught you well. Okay, next. Oh, these are wonderful. Okay. Oh, yeah, and she just got you really nice stuff for your kitchen.
I know.
Ah.
Yeah, it is.
Were you did not see this coming?
No, I actually already you coming was like
A
it's too
surprise.
much. No, it was too much already.
Yes.
So now even to think that it's gonna go this, I literally had no, and she hid so well.
Yes.
Because I have no idea she has something. I don't even know when she did.
You
this.
went to Kitengela to buy when you were calling me.
What? Oh. I don't know what this is. I'm looking forward to
Me
see.
too. Oh,
my
it's
God.
a travel mug.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow. My God.
Can I take a guess? Yes. Okay, I'm thinking yours, your husband,
Yeah.
your
and the
kids.
babies. Can I give her a hug?
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, it is so touching. Thank you, Josephine. God bless you.
Amen.
God bless you.
Amen.
Yeah, may people appreciate you.
Amen.
Let doors open that no man can open for you.
Amen.
Oh, this is beautiful. You know.
This is good. And you know, she knows we travel a lot.
Yes.
So,
Aye.
this is good.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're on the road a lot and quite a
Yes.
number of hours.
Yes.
So we,
Oh, it's beautiful.
thank you, thank
May
you.
God bless you.
Yeah.
On behalf, Miss hapa nabeba glass
The kids,
moja tu.
the kids will be so excited.
I love, and the colors
Yeah,
are beautiful.
very, very
Thank you
beautiful.
so much.
Yeah.
And you know, my
Oh,
people,
This is cute.
you always ask me, you know, sometimes people don't get why I do this show.
Yeah.
I do it because of moments
Oh,
like,
like
this.
this, yeah.
I do it because I believe there is a possibility of us having really impactful
Yes.
stories
Yes, yes.
and us getting to celebrate each other without feeling without you being inferior
Yeah,
or
yeah.
without you being superior to
Right.
the other person.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm happy we did this story.
Yeah.
I'm happy we did it together.
Yeah.
And I know my audience will definitely, they'll definitely get inspired.
Yeah.
So I don't take it for granted. Nekesa, me, I'll call you Nekesa for life.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't take it for granted. You trust it. You know, you got to trust me with your story. And I don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
You welcomed us into your
Right,
home.
right.
So guys, you see what happens when we let God do his work.
Yes,
When we let God atembee mbele yetu, these are the, because I know it's a gift. Ata si ati ni kitu watu wengi wezi ona ikiwa kitu kubwa.
Oh, no, it's-
but it's a big thing, you
It's
know?
a big thing because I know how much I pay her.
Exactly.
I know she knows I can afford it.
Yes.
So for her to even, you know, do this
Yeah.
to my family,
Yes.
it is so humbling.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, you know, when you're in her position, you don't feel like you can be appreciated too.
Yes.
But you know, she does that. She'll
Yeah.
go and get me, like the other day we were all freezing.
Yes.
She brought all of us house shoes,
Wow.
some fluffy
Yes.
stuff, including my husband. So I wanted to know that I really appreciate you doing this. And I know your salary is dear. Hii ni kama ule tu mzee anaenda hapo kwa Kiugo, inaitwa nini sasa?
Kiugo.
Kiugo.
ile
Shed.
Yes.
Anachukua mbuzi ile mnono.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a very serious sacrifice. I don't take it like this is just another
Yes.
flask. No.
Yeah.
And you know what? She hasn't bought anything that we have or anything that we don't need.
Yes.
Everything she has selected carefully.
What you need.
And not only that,
Yeah.
quality that she knows.
You will treasure.
Yeah, I will treasure. So God bless you so much.
Yeah.
And I honor your class. I really honor her class.
This is beautiful.
This is a woman of class. I told you she has no village.
Yes.
But then unaweza ongea Kiluya.
Hata ajui. Hebu rudi usome lugha. Anyways, so
Yeah.
thank you guys, and I really want you to tell me what you think of this episode, because for me, I love doing this with you guys. I love covering these stories and getting supported by you. I do not take it for granted. Na kwa sababu mimi nataka kwenda kukula chakula, let me say thank you for watching. My director, hebu ngojeni nionyeshe director wangu kwanza. Leo nafanya vitu extra kwa hii show. Guys, that's director Edwin Ochieng right there doing his thing, and that's his set. So director Edwin Ochieng, unaona venye watu wana appreciate-iwa huku? Hebu ninunulie Range Rover tufunge. Tufunge hii maneno. Yes, and also to our amazing editor Yukabeth Mukami for compiling this episode and making sure it reaches to you right on time, and I hope you guys are motivated. Let's see where the next episode of Tales of Wanjiku takes us. For now, tuseme aje?
Bye.
Bye bye, and may God bless
you.
Na venye watu ni washai hapa. Nienda kukula. Bye.
Now, today I know I'm being so extra, my people, but forgive me. As I said, tunakula. So, cheni niwaonyeshe what tumepika. Wewe, director Edwin Ochieng.
Karibu nyumbani.
Unajua hata kitu kwa hiyo sahani? Kuna kitu unajua kwa hiyo sahani? Ama niko Coca-Cola wajalipia advert, lakini kuna Coca-Cola, kuna Zesta, kuna Go Fruit, and kuna chef. Yeah. Chef, maybe tell people what have you made for us? Wow. Point to us so we can see.
We have, first we start with protein. Yes. This is minced meat stew.
Have a seat.
Then we have cumin rice. Yes. And ratatu.
And what?
Ratatu.
Ratatu.
Yeah, these vegetables.
Oh, yeah. So tusiseme vegetable. Tuseme tu ratatu. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And we are having here Coca-Cola, guys. Coca-Cola, mchele, minced meat na tumboga. Bye-bye. And thank you for watching. I'm sorry for being too extra. Mwah.